This is why I've really dove into speaking AI. My specialty is getting AI to write so good. That's what I've been helping companies do. AI integrated inside their marketing, sales department, customer support, so good their teams can use it. No one would even know that it's AI.
AI is no longer just a sci-fi fantasy. It's here, it's powerful, and for the first time in history, it's replacing white-collar jobs. But should we really be panicking about this? Today's guest, Jeff Hunter, is on the front lines of AI in the workplace and has some surprising and maybe unsettling insights to share. Welcome to Beyond the Byte. I'm your host, Hafez, and today's guest, Jeff Hunter, is a digital futurist with over 20 years of IT experience, including as a Fortune 500 IT project manager. He is the founder of VA Staffer, a leading team of over 150 virtual assistants, and the creator of the AI Persona Method, a program that has certified over 100 AI consultants. And with expertise in AI, blockchain, remote teams, Jeff is at the forefront of preparing businesses and individuals for the future of work. And so, today we're going to dive into the big question. Is AI going to take your job in 2025? And if it is, what can you do about it? Jeff, welcome to the show. And let's jump right in. The rise of the AI workforce. You and I have been chatting a little bit here and there are some crazy statistics that you shared with me. Something like 91% of companies now are looking to hire positions for AI with GPT experience and AI adoption going up the wazoo. What do you think? How do you think this is going?
To answer your question, if AI is going to take your job, because I know your listeners are going, hey, that's a hook and a half. The correct answer is maybe. That's not the answer that you want to know. I've actually been preparing something that we can give to your guests. I've been preparing this report, basically that shows what industries are at risk. Who's going to keep their job and who's not. I can start by saying, the jobs right now that are going to go right away, I can tell you with certainty, any type of data analyst or researcher, because ChatGPT is fantastic at that. Matter of fact, my favorite, perplexity.ai, has been an absolute game changer when it comes to doing market research. For me as a marketer, oh my gosh, the first thing we do before we launch a campaign for a client or even myself is we do research. We figure out these stats, like all the stats that we have prepared for you guys today is because I literally went into Perplexity and said, how will AI impact jobs? I want you to research the top 10 articles by credible sources. And I want you to prepare a 2-sentence summary for each article with the notable stats. And it's like, okay, boom, 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 boom.
So done.
And the cool part is everything you're going to hear today is not fluff. It is actual stats, and every single thing we do is a clickable link, right, to whatever that report is. So the jobs that are going to go first are data analysts, and you're going to see entry-level marketing jobs. So these are white collar, but these are like maybe not the best of the best. I will tell you, in the marketing world, the best of the best, they're pretty secure because they understand the market, they understand how to sell, they understand how audiences work. But for those that are like, maybe they're getting by, and everybody's hired like that shady SEO guy, who's just trying to figure things out and make a buck, right? So people that are not established experts and authorities in their field, they're going to struggle for sure. But a little gold nugget though, human to human interaction fields, like for example, nursing is going to be safe for a long time. Right. Ironically, what you said was about how we're replacing white collar jobs. I actually don't believe it's going to be the burger flippers. It might be the people behind the counter, right? They're already replacing them with kiosks,
right?
But the people who are actually doing the actual work aren't going to be replaced yet. The reason being is because it's still cheaper to hire a human than to buy a robot to do it.
$1 million machine that flips the burgers for you. Exactly.
But again, that's temporary because everything, the electronics are going down and down and down. We have now NVIDIA just released a microcomputer.
The $249, that's awesome. that's essentially going to democratize using AI for everything. And you know what I find interesting too, Jeff, is that, you mentioned Perplexity, which is a great research tool, and there's just so many. There's Claude, there's Gemini, and they all do different things, and you can explore and do. But the adoption by companies is not there yet. It's mostly individuals that are going in and using these tools. Why do you think there's such a huge gap between the companies and the individuals in terms of AI adoption?
I'm going to give you some numbers.
I like numbers.
So there is an interesting gap. I call this the AI disparity gap. The biggest gap I've witnessed in my 20 plus years in technology. I've been the IT coordinator for a district of California. I've been a network administrator for a small hospital, a network in California. I literally was a project manager for a Fortune 500 Philips Electronics. I've seen the smartphone. I've seen the rise of the internet, the .com. I've seen the rise of the smartphone. I've seen the rise of cloud computing. I've seen every single electronic, computerized, digital transformation. And I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy part. It's the adoption rate, but it's not the adoption rate. Let me explain this. The companies that are using AI the most are ironically the companies developing AI the most. We've got Amazon, we've got Google, we've got Meta. These are companies that are developing tools and they can see what the power is. And because they have a stakehold inside of it, Amazon, right? Amazon's going now with Claude. You're seeing all these investments happening and they're already seeing the power of Microsoft Copilot. There's so many ways that companies are figuring out how to integrate AI. But here's the crazy part. No one has still figured out, I think only 6.4% of businesses have figured out how to integrate AI into their workflows to actually make progress, to actually move the needle. Most people are still trying to figure it out. Now, here's an interesting stat. 75% of CEOs in 2024 have identified and said that 2025 will be their year of AI transformation, which means they're going to be executing their initiatives. So it'll be very interesting to see how people survive in this AI transformation that's coming in 2025. And personally, I know that I've been getting a lot of flack online. I run a Facebook group that has 3.2 million members. It's the largest AI Facebook group on the planet.
So
literally, you go to Facebook, you type AI, artificial intelligence, 3.2 million members. That's the group, right?
It's the group.
And I will tell you, I post stuff in there all the time about the stats on AI replacing humans and the sheer amount of people that are in denial. I'm getting called very bad names for just telling people about the AI jobs apocalypse is coming.
No, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just letting you know what's coming up.
Listen, most companies right now, less than 10% have actually figured out a way to integrate AI into their workflows. The US government census estimates 6.4%. Right? Very small number. But here's the thing. ResumeBuilder.com did something with Business Insider. They figured out that 91% of all applications right now, job listings, 91% of job listings right now are requiring some level of ChatGPT or AI experience. So this is that AI disparity gap. You have 6.4% of businesses using AI in an effective way. But you have 91% of businesses trying to figure out how to do it. They want to bring someone in to help.
And that's why they're needing the AI consultants and I've seen this. There's a huge demand now for it's great. It's wonderful. I know it's here. My employees are actually using it already, but how do I actually incorporate it into the workflows? And that seems to be the name of the game right now.
So I have made over $280,000 in my first year being an AI consultant. I know because that's what my accountant said. It's crazy too, because it's wild for me, being in IT my whole life and then giving all that up to go into marketing. And then seeing this new intersection of AI and marketing, which is super sexy for me. It's been really interesting because just like what you said, a lot of companies are trying to figure out how they can integrate AI. And right now, the fastest way to do that, Mo, is to use AI to make money. It's the easiest thing to sell since sliced bread. Literally right now, selling AI consulting, in other words, helping businesses
know how to incorporate
get
this.
their teams up to date.
Yes.
I'm going to give you some crazy stats. Every company I've worked in, I've gotten at least 20 to 40% increase in productivity and output from their team members. Let's use the small number, 20%. Yeah. If you have one employee that I'm able to get 20% increased productivity, they're able to do more emails, they're able to do faster response time, they're able to get more output from that person because of AI.
Yeah.
In a 5-day work week, 20% is 1 day.
That's
so
huge.
That one person is getting 6 days of work in a 5-day work week.
Yeah.
Right? The math compounds. It's about a 900% productivity increase over a year span. 900% increase. You're literally getting 3 months of free work out of somebody's productivity. It's very easy to position yourself to a company and say, how would you like me to come in and get 20% minimum productivity gains from your team? Now imagine multiply that by 10 people.
It's amazing.
Right?
So that lends itself now to thinking about it from this perspective. As a CEO, as a business owner, you're not only concerned with ensuring that you are growing and doing well, but your bottom line as well. And to a certain degree, we have to admit that when you get so much more productivity out of people, that can justify somebody having a smaller workforce. And so I imagine you're no stranger to being tasked with automating entire roles instead of, empowering organizations as employees to get better. And have you run into that? What's been your experience with using AI and incorporating into organizations and how that might affect their workforce?
There's really 3 ways that a company can view this. It really depends. But what I will tell you is there's obviously the negative connotation. And by the way, it's not a good look. There's no CEO I've ever worked with who said, Jeff, I can't wait to announce to the world that I've been able to cut half of my team and still do more or the same or more than I was doing before, right? Like, it's not a good look as a CEO. And, there's 3 ways to approach it. You either do that, you say, hey, look, I'm going to cut my squad. I can still produce stuff. I got super productivity team. I'm going to cut the fat, the people that, that's a really interesting, and I would not recommend that way. Although some businesses need that, quite frankly, depending on their profit margins. Number 2 is to see about how to empower your team just to do more, right? Yeah. That's my favorite, right? When I come in, I like to do the do more thing. The third role is to take somebody who's in a CIO role or an IT role or somebody who's maybe an outside consultant, and you plug them in and you figure out, how can we systematize what we're currently doing? How can we integrate these workflows to make our team work better and faster and whatever? Because those are really the 3 options you've got. You either fire people, you upskill them, or you bring someone in to redo your workflows and make everyone's job better. Here's one of the things that I want to say. It's a hidden benefit that people don't talk about. There's a lot of things that people do in their day-to-day job that they just don't like. Right?
That's right.
So
we want to automate those things,
Exactly. That's the low-hanging fruit for me. But I will tell you, back to your topic, to ignore its displacement factor, to ignore the absolute sheer amount of things that AI can do. And remember, we're in the infancy.
This just
today is 1 year, no, 2 years
since GPT,
less than 1 month from the release of ChatGPT.
That's right.
So in just over 2 years of ChatGPT, we have seen AI technology go places we've never seen. We're seeing
and do
the
things
graphical capabilities
that are straight out of sci-fi.
Right. We're seeing the video capabilities. I have a pretty engaged Facebook following. Somebody just got done making a post and tagged me in it. And it's really bizarre. I'm actually going to pull this thing up. For those of you who are watching this versus those of you who are listening, somebody actually tagged me in a Facebook post, which I thought was hilarious. And they were in complete shock over some images that I'm starting to make of myself using this new AI platform called Flux. Something called Flux Laura. Have you heard of it?
I have not. Is it one of those ones that allows you to take a picture and move it and do all sorts of different things with it? I know there's a lot of those tools out there right now.
It is probably the most realistic visual cloning tool there is.
Okay.
So here I am. You can see what I look like. For those of you who are just listening in, I highly suggest you look how sexy I am. All right. You should watch the video on YouTube, Mo. Right?
Looks good.
And I'm about to pull up. You've seen me. Look at my side shot.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just, for those of you listening in right now, I'm twisting and turning,
The real
showing
deal,
him
right
what
here,
I look like.
right here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Let me get a strong man pose for you. Here we go.
Yep.
Let me come back a little bit, show you what my body looks like. Here I am.
I think I see where this is going.
You can see where it's going.
I see where this is going.
I uploaded only 11 photos of myself. And by the way, they were photos that I wasn't happy with. So I actually edited the prompts a little bit just to add a little more muscle, a little more lean. Okay.
Yeah.
And guess what? Here are AI generated photos of me.
That's amazing.
And I'm gonna pull. So funny story. The reason I thought about this was because I am speaking at a lot of events in 2025.
Right.
And I just got asked to speak at Social Media Marketing World down in San Diego.
Yeah.
And they asked me for a new headshot. And I have actually lost some weight. I was telling you before the show that I started fasting. Yeah. And all my photos of me are fat. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna use
AI.
Laura.
Yeah. Take a few pounds off.
Exactly. Look at this photo of me.
Oh, okay. Wow. Look at those, the forearm muscles and everything. It's, that's a good photo. That's a great photo. Oh my God. Wow. That's AI generated.
100% AI.
That's amazing. That's incredible. Jeff, that's incredible.
So for those of you who are just listening in, these are literally clones of me that look so good that even my son, my 6-year-old son, said that was me. He was like, no, Dad. I literally told my wife, I said, check out these photos that AI made of me. And my son,
it's like, have you been working out?
I love the innocence of kids. My 6-year-old, he leans into the photo, he gets really close like this, and he goes, no, Dad. He goes, that's you. I said, is it? He goes, yes, Dad. I can see your mustachio.
That's cute.
He thought the facial hair was so real.
It was so real. Right? There's no way. Yeah. That's awesome.
So this is what we're up against. We're up against the visual. We're up against the video editors now. We have Sora. We have all these, these runway tools where now you can literally upload a photo of you, and then you can upload a video of you, and then it will literally use your video camera to live track you and give you live facial features and movement and everything and match everything you do. This is an age where it's making video editors irrelevant. It's making graphic designers irrelevant. It's making social media marketers irrelevant. It's making any type of data analysis irrelevant.
Yeah.
You will have to position yourself in a way to drive maximum value.
Yeah.
And Goldman Sachs, they estimate that there will be over 300 million jobs impacted by AI that are at risk. And they also estimate, the World Economic Forum, that over 14% of careers that exist today won't.
Well, that takes me to kind of our next part here, which is, and even, I like what you said, even Marcus Brownlee, who's got an amazing YouTube, he did this one video where he goes, well, I don't know how long YouTube creators are going to be around for. And I think that's kind of telling, but at the same time, I think that there's still room for, human personality and everything. But you are somebody who has dealt with personalities. I mean, you had a staffing firm, so you know what it's like to actually have people and have them be doing all these jobs. How can we make sure people are prepared for an AI-proof career? What kinds of things? I mean, you talk about all these tools. What kinds of things can people upskill in to stay relevant and adapt?
First off, if you want to get an AI-proof job, if you want to have an AI-proof job, you don't have to know AI. I just want to throw that out there, okay? Like I said, there's a lot of careers like nursing and things like that where that human element is always going to be important, okay? Now, just to play devil's advocate, they've already shown in a small study that ChatGPT was better at doctors than diagnosing, diagnosing patients' problems, even against doctors that were using ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was better than doctors that were using ChatGPT. All right,
this is incredible.
So you want to make sure that if you are in an industry that's at risk, you identify how much of risk is it? Is it something that AI can truly automate? Here's the number one thing that I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
You should at least, if you're in an information industry, if you're in a job that can be done remotely, if you're in a job that can be done online, that's a sure way of knowing that AI could probably do it. Okay. So what you need to know is, how can I make myself indispensable? How can I make myself more valuable and show that I can actually use these tools
to bring value?
I want to share with you a story, if that's okay.
Please.
The reason why I'm one of the most, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but one of the reasons why I became one of the most sought after AI consultants, I'm speaking on stages. I spoke at South by Southwest. I'm speaking at social media, at Marketing World. I'm going to literally across the world speaking about it in the Philippines. Like, I'm going everywhere. I'm literally working with people, like right now, by the way, call center jobs. Oh my gosh, that's going to be the biggest industry to go.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, this is nuts. What I'm going to tell you right here is ridiculously vulnerable and why I got into AI. Okay. First off, I've always loved Star Trek. Data from Star Trek?
Of course.
Yeah, so he's I was obsessed with him in the 80s. My mom and I used to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think it was like every Tuesday or Wednesday night on CBS or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, we love that show. It's freaking awesome.
I still reference the holodeck when it comes to VR and AR. I'm like, the holodeck.
Yes.
We're trying to get closer to the holodeck right now.
That's where we're getting right now. Like, me and my son, we both have. I bought me and him both the Oculus. The Meta Quest.
Meta Quest is awesome.
It's funny. You know how sad we are. Me and my 12-year-old. We literally have a board game, right? We have the Catan, Settlers of Catan board game.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? We would rather play it inside our Oculus, right? Inside of our Meta Quest,
in real life.
There's no cleanup afterwards. You just, you play it. It's fun. And so what I'm getting at here is that when ChatGPT came out, November 30th of 2022, I remember logging in for my very first time and going, wow, this is way more advanced than I ever thought it would be. And this is 2 years ago, right? Like, it's gone so far since then. If you remember the IP restrictions when it first came out, it was basically like, if you were in, basically you had to be American, maybe a few other countries to use it.
Yeah.
My team, primarily in the Philippines, had not had a chance to use it yet unless they were in a VPN. And even there, it was like, I don't remember if they have like phone number authentication or something like that. I think so, like, you had to have an American phone number or whatever. So like, they didn't really get it yet.
Yeah.
I knew right then and there we were in trouble. I said, why would someone pay me $1,800 to $2,000 a month for a Filipino VA when they can use ChatGPT for free?
Yeah.
I fly to the Philippines in December of 2022, immediately, urgently. I call I call an emergency meeting to my leadership team. I've got 10 people. I said, guys, we are creating an AI division of this company, and we are going to figure out exactly how we are going to beat AI.
Yeah.
We're going to show our clients why they need us. I fly to the Philippines. I get everyone together. I whip out the laptop. I turn on the VPN, and I show my leadership team ChatGPT for the first time with the know-how of what I just told you, saying, look, we got to figure out how we are better than ChatGPT, how we can show value.
Right.
The moment I did my very first command and started chatting with it, the faces of my team went white, like jaws dropping. Half of my leadership team is going, whoa, this is so cool.
And the other
half is questioning their existence.
Yeah.
After we had our little training together and I showed them how to use it, we pretty much all came to the conclusion that it's going to be very hard to convince the client that we are better than the AI, especially for the cost.
Yeah.
So what we came up with was, how can we supercharge and superpower our team to use AI? And that's what led me to become an AI consultant. Was I actually trained my team, and I used to post stories on my social media about all the things I'm teaching my team how to use AI for. And people kept coming to me saying, can you teach me that? Can you teach my team that? And it was like a natural progression. It's almost like I was a reluctant consultant. Like people were like, can I just throw money at you and you teach my team how to do it? I just had another call 2 days ago from someone who wants me to fly out to Florida and get his team AI ready, right?
Yeah. Well, you looked at this technology and I love the story you told, because half your team, fear in their eyes, right? It reminds me of that scene from Jurassic Park where, the paleontologist sees a dinosaur for the first time. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm out of a job." Like it's like I'm not relevant anymore. But, this is one way to look at AI. But another way to look at AI is that, we can empower our teams with this, right? We can, and you saw that opportunity, and instead you flipped the script and said, okay, no, let's all learn this. I want my team to use this. And that is what sets you apart, in that you didn't look at it as something to be feared, but something to be embraced. And we go from there, and we see what it's going to change things. Absolutely, it's going to change the way we operate, and even the way you operate as a business who does staffing and stuff like that. But you embraced it, and you embraced it for your team as well.
You know what's going to blow your mind though? My team was so reluctant.
Sure.
They were so reluctant. Why should I train my replacement? Why should I learn and integrate my replacement into the business? And a lot of companies are going to go through this. The MIT did a research, and there is an innate human bias. I blame Terminator, by the way.
Skynet scares everyone out of their wits.
Yeah, I'm still very nice to AI. I always like to say please and thank you, because when that day comes,
they're gonna remember you were nice.
That's right. They're gonna remember. You know what? This guy was all right.
This guy was all right. He wasn't a jerk.
Here's the crazy part. I had the hardest time training my team how to use AI. It took me a while to figure it out, actually. And it took me about 2 months to really figure out a workflow that worked, because there's so many different AI tools and things like that. At the time, luckily, when I started it was really only ChatGPT. There wasn't even Claude until July of 2023 or whatever. So it was just ChatGPT. So that was really all I had to work with on the team that was at least affordable, right? By the way, I remember when ChatGPT did their Google survey to find out what they should price, and the options were $5, $10, $20, $50, $75. I was like, uh-oh. I said, this is gonna really impact the world if they're literally looking at $20 and $50. And then when they decided on $20, I'm like,
we're like, okay, this is nuts. $20 is all you need. Yeah, that's
the
incredible.
Amount of value.
That's how much you pay for Netflix.
I mean, even the free. This is the part that I love for the world.
Yeah.
And by the way, should scare the hell out of Americans.
Yes.
This is the first time, and I actually have a column at entrepreneur.com, and I wrote an article about this. My last article was about how AI has basically, completely eliminated the language barrier worldwide. I'm thinking about Pakistan. I'm thinking about the Philippines. I'm thinking about India. I'm thinking about Malaysia. I'm thinking about all the different countries, Sri Lanka. I'm thinking about all the countries in the world that are non-native English speaking.
Yeah.
That now can use AI to compete with an international market at a level that's never been done before.
Yeah.
And what this can do for the global economy to actually solve global hunger, to solve, all they have to have is a mobile phone.
Yes, right.
Okay. Trust me when I say, a lot of the world now, especially in developing countries, have mobile phones.
Yeah.
And this is a huge, huge opportunity. So here's how I ended up. Now you're wondering, how did you end up training your team, right, Mo?
That's actually exactly the question. And how do you not only how do you end up training your team, how did you get them on board? Because there is fear and there's trepidation and I don't want to learn this. And so training them and also maintaining that human-centered culture while introducing this very, very powerful element.
You're going to love this. And it's so funny. This is the number one question I get from CEOs that work with me. How can I get buy-in from my team?
That's it.
And what I've discovered, it goes back to that question and answer I gave earlier about how most people have stuff in their job that they hate to do.
Okay. That's a good way to start. Yeah.
Here's how we start. This is where I designed and created what you introduced, the AI persona method. what I discovered was it was very easy for me to go to my team and say, how would you like to have your own assistant? I'm thinking about hiring an assistant for you.
Yep.
And they say, really? This assistant would do all the emails. They would take over a lot of that low level entry.
All the stuff you hate to do.
All the stuff you hate to do. And they're like, huh. And I said, and here's the best part. I'm going to give you the ability to create this position with me. We're going to create the exact role of who you want to hire, and we're going to hire the exact person that fits and does everything that you want it to do. And they said, really? And I said, yes. We literally created the job description, and then we programmed an AI to do that job description.
You prompted it to a model. That's
yes.
Awesome.
So
that's great.
We created roles, specializations. We gave it information about who they're working for, which is them. We gave it company information. We gave it company specific training data. We gave it all the stuff that they don't want to do. And we called this an AI persona. And that's what the AI persona method is. We're creating these digital AI employees, basically.
That's right.
That do stuff that they don't want to do. That's how we started it. Okay. Yeah. That was very simple because in the beginning days of ChatGPT, honestly, it sucked, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't having it do a bunch of advanced things. Like right now, I can have Claude run circles around the best marketers in the game, okay? Confidently. But back then, getting buy-in was, hey, let's craft your perfect assistant. So this AI assistant, right? This AI persona to do exactly all the stuff that you wanted to do. And then the team got excited because I also got them involved in the process of training the AI, right? So we held held workshops.
They were a part of the process. They weren't just. It wasn't just a, hey, this thing is your new coworker. Good luck. It's like, no, you're training your assistant here. This is going to help you do your job. What do you not want to do? And then let's have you do more of what you actually want to do.
Bingo. And then it wasn't a threat to them.
Correct.
It was an assistant to them. As long as in their mind, they knew they were superior, they were good. And back to that MIT research I was talking about, we never finished that. There's a bias against AI. They had 2 papers on a desk, and they had people in this research group at MIT read the papers. They didn't say what these papers were. They just said, which one do you like the most?
Yeah.
The majority of them liked the one that was written by AI.
Yeah.
As soon as they were told what the experiment was and that they chose the AI, a lot of them changed their minds. And they liked the human one better. So there is a bias against AI, which is, by the way, important to know that this is a big no-no for you business owners out there, for those of you building your brand and using AI.
Yeah.
Once people can tell that you're using AI,
they immediately are switched off to it.
They're repelled.
Yeah.
Which is why it's super important. And this is why I've really dove into, speaking AI.
I like that shit.
I've dove into, like, for me, my specialty is getting AI to write so good, no one would know it's AI. That's the point. Yeah. Right. And that's my niche. And that's what I've been helping companies do, is literally figure out how to get their AI integrated inside their marketing, inside their sales department, customer support, so good that their teams can use it and no one would even know that it's AI.
That's it. That's amazing. And now you're actually getting something out of it, and you're not having the bias work against you. I mean, I really like that. What you don't want is having that bias. It's funny you say that, because I run across this. I just ran across this today. I was actually in a meeting where we were discussing all this stuff for a university. And the first thing they said was their faculty, as soon as they, looked at incorporating AI, they said, "Oh, we don't want to do this." They didn't want to look at it. And so the question was, how do we get them to be curious? How do we get them to want to work with it? And this idea of it being one of the big things I hear from professors is they hate grading. So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, well, if you hate grading, if that you really want to focus on the teaching, right? So the idea of having an AI persona be the, your professor assistant that does the grading for you based on your criteria and based on how you grade, doesn't that sound like a wonderful idea? Doesn't that save you from that really annoying thing you have to do at the end of the year which is great. So it's the mindset shift. And I think when it comes to embracing AI, I think there's a huge mindset shift that's required. From an individual level, but from an organizational level as well.
You're right. And here's the thing. It's pretty ironic that university professors would say that, even grade school, because honestly, those are going to be one of the most impacted. I hate to admit it, I've been through the education system. It took me, I had a full-time job when I went to college. So, it took me 10 years to graduate. Matter of fact, I had 2 careers people went to college for, both my IT coordinator job and my IT project manager job. I actually got those jobs before I graduated. I had to sign a waiver on both of those jobs that basically, because one of them was a government role and the other one was a corporate role. So I actually had to sign a waiver saying that I will be finishing my degree as part of my role, right? Is college and higher education today, is it what we need to prepare our next generation of the workforce? I hate to say it, but I think not. We live in a very interesting situation to where colleges are going to have to be forced to adapt. I think that's a great opportunity for private universities to lead the way on this new forefront. I know one of the AI consultants in my program, by the way, we're up to 150 now in our consulting program, but her name is Karen Sutherland. And in, I think 2019 or 2020, she wrote the very first ever social media marketing theory and practice, or social media management theory and practice book. It's in over 100,000 textbooks worldwide. I'm featured in the book, by the way.
Nice.
My copywriting method is featured in the book. But so many universities today still don't have a course on social media marketing.
How? It's practically required today. And that's the thing. And I think you said it best. They need to adapt. And everything now is very interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary. And AI touches almost every field, right? Finance, healthcare, law. So I think if anything, the universities are going to have to figure out, how do we incorporate this and how do we actually teach and adapt? Because the skills of tomorrow are already needed today. And if you are not teaching them today, I joked, I said, people are going to go to YouTube University, right? Where they're, like you said, if there's no course at your university about social media marketing, well, guess what? There's a lot on YouTube, and you can go learn that stuff right then and there. And that stuff makes money. I mean, that is nowadays a very valuable skill. You can't get by as a business if you don't engage in social media.
I was the first person ever to create a certification program for AI. And strategically, I used it just teaching what I already know about how businesses need AI and how you can learn the valuable skills that these businesses are desperately seeking. Those 91% of people, companies that are hiring for people that have AI experience. That disparity gap between the companies is basically, right now, the best analogy I can give is that right now we live in a desert, and most of these businesses are on the camelback and they've ran out of water for months, and we are literally selling water. AI is so essential to the health of the future of these companies, and they're starting to realize it. They're starting to see that their competitors are starting to use AI. They're starting to see that these apps are now integrating AI into it. They're starting to see that they're able to do bigger and better. Klarna, have you heard of Klarna? They're the online bank that does the delayed payment plans. They're growing exponentially, and they stopped hiring a year ago. And by the way, this is what you're going to see in the workforce. For those of you listening in, this is very important. What you're going to see isn't a mass firing at first. It's going to just be no hiring, because they know that their current staff needs to be re-educated
and can do the job that they would normally hire more people for. Just get their staff to get that much better, 10x their staff.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, even on me, in my Savage Marketer, in my marketing agency,
Yeah.
I used to have 5 copywriters on my team. When I implemented AI, when I showed them and trained them, you wouldn't believe this. People were so reluctant on my team. AI could never write as good as me. When I first started teaching them, I will say it was true that AI did not write as good as them.
Yeah.
The part they got wrong was AI could never write as good as me. They got the never part wrong, because now absolutely it can. I was giving about $500 per page of copy written on my team, which, by the way, back then was a steal. Like for me, like that was a great price.
Yeah.
And now I can get AI to write an entire funnel in 20 minutes and cost me nothing, $20 a month, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, as good, if not better. So I now have 2 AI assisted copywriters
Amazing.
that do not only the work of those 5, but we've grown and expanded, and they're probably doing the workload of 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's it.
They've been taken, and they have been working less than ever, right? Because it's results based.
That's right.
So like,
as long as they're delivering the results, it doesn't matter how much time. That's, talk about 4-hour work week, right? If you want to make that a reality, we talk about, nowadays I don't need to have my butt in a seat, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Well, there you go. Results driven. Are we getting the results? Absolutely. Do we need, 8 hours to do it? No, we don't.
Exactly. And that's a great kind of segue into, I know what we wanted to talk about, which is like, how do organizations actually start this AI journey?
Absolutely.
Right. So if you are in that spot where you're like, I don't know how to even integrate this or whatever, the first thing to do is you should have someone on your team assigned to just figure out how AI could work in the business.
Yeah.
Usually I recommend someone who's that techie guy. It doesn't have to be an IT guy. Doesn't have to be a CIO. It can be someone who's just someone who's shown interest. Correct. And someone who maybe comes to work and says, hey, look what I did with AI.
Has an open mind about technology.
Yeah, that person, whether he or she, the person who's just naturally inquisitive. I find that I would much rather have someone who's got a curious mindset than a know-it-all.
Correct. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. The person that wants to learn more, as opposed to, oh yeah, I've got it all figured out. We're good here.
Yeah, I like to call them the curious student, check out what I did. Like, even when I showed you like the images of me, like I'm just learning that, right? Yep. Like I'm not an image guy, but I figured out how to do it. You and I have that in
common. It's that, like, what can I do with this stuff? It's very cool. I'm curious, let me play with it. Yeah. And
then what's important is to figure out what exactly, the low hanging fruit is. So the easiest way to integrate AI is, there's 2 ways. Number 1 is, how can AI make me money? I like that one first because that's an ROI factor, and I can tell you less than 5% of businesses have not figured out how to actually use AI to make money. Okay.
No.
So the easiest way to do that is to take AI into your marketing department. So AI for email marketing, abandoned cart sequences, creating lead magnets, making opt-in pages, creating newsletters, creating blogs, like this is the easiest way right now, like especially if you have an email list. And I don't know anyone who wakes up and says, you know what, I'm emailing my list too much, right? Like no one says that. And for those of you who are thinking about, hey, maybe I should become an AI consultant, that's also a great way to sell it. Yeah. You go in and say, hey, look, here's something that I like to do. Here's one of the strategies that I like to do, Mel. I love social media. That's my thing. That's my jam. I go viral on social media literally on a weekly basis.
You have the number 1 AI page on Facebook. So a thing or two about viral marketing for sure.
Yeah. And I'm old school, I'm in my 40s and I just like to write stories, right? So I trained the AI to write stories for me that go viral.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting here is it doesn't matter what the platform is. Like AI has gotten to the point to where it can get you attention. That's the key. So what I'm doing is right now, the strategy, I'm going to people that already have established audiences. And I'm saying, I'm not even asking them for money or anything. I'm sending them messages and I'm saying, hey, you inspired me.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a post for you. I'd love for you to post it.
Yeah.
No strings attached. I do this for a living. Yeah. If you want to talk about it, but quite frankly, I just love what you're doing. I want you to post it and see how it does.
You're bringing value right out of the gate. Right out of the gate.
Simo, it's never been so easy than right now to provide absolute massive value so fast and so cheap.
Yeah.
Remember that meme that's always gone viral? Good, fast, cheap. Pick two.
Pick two. That's right.
Good, fast, cheap. Pick two. With AI, you get all three.
That's true. Absolutely.
This is the first time in history, Mo.
Yeah.
Good, fast, and cheap. Like I can open up a tool.
It breaks the rules.
I don't know if it's against the rules to share my screen. Is it?
No, I'm not talking about that. I was talking about it's rule breaking in that now you can actually get good, fast, and cheap, whereas the rule is always two.
No. Right. No, what I'm saying is I want to show people how easy it is. Is that okay?
Yeah, please. Go ahead. Please. Absolutely.
I'm trying to share my screen. Let me see here. All right. So for those of you who are just listening in, don't worry. I'm gonna give you a play-by-play of what's going on here. This is one of the apps that I've developed. It's called AI Copy Tools, and literally this is trained on my own training data set. I've created over 10,000 social media posts for me and my clients. I've taken the 200 most viral posts I've ever written, and I basically conduced it into, I have 27 different tools. All of these are already trained on the top performing emails, top performing, sales letters and whatever. Like, I'm not here to sell that. What I want to show you is how easy it is, which should be amazing for some, and then probably some of you might be questioning your existence after you see this. Right? But what I've pulled up on the screen is the pattern interrupt post writer. Okay. This tool will create long form viral social media posts. And all you have to do is answer 4 questions. Actually, you can get away with answering 2. What topic would you like me to write about on social media?
The starred ones.
Let's do a topic that you and I talked about. How AI should be a top priority for businesses, right? Businesses in 2025. Okay, so here's some takeaways. Look at integrating AI into marketing for emails, social media, and I want to be specific and say I'm going to keep it the marketing focus: email marketing, social media, and
outreach.
Outreach. There we go. I'm going to call that lead generation.
Lead generation. Okay. That's a big one. Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to do this from your point of view, Mo.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say I'm Mo. I host a podcast for tech leaders, and we go deep into AI. Your target audience. Who is your target audience?
Professional businessmen, CEOs,
business owners and professionals.
Business owners and professionals, correct.
No call to action. I'm going to hit submit, and I'm going to read this post to you guys just to show you how good it is. And I highly recommend you look at it, because the way that it's structured is literally in a proven format that I've perfected for over 8 years, how to get attention online. Mo, you can post this on your LinkedIn, and I can't wait to see how good it does. I'm going to send it to you.
We should play with that just as an experiment. That would be interesting.
Totally.
And I love this because, and the thing is, Jeff, you built this phenomenal tool, which is great, but this tool is something that people can work with, can build. A lot of these are things that you can actually do with AI right now, with publicly available AI resources. Of course, let's not forget that Jeff has actually trained his AI on all of this from his years of experience in social media marketing. But the idea is, once you've trained this tool to do this, boom, it's that simple. It's literally now with a click of a button, you've got a content generator on demand, customizable, incredible.
All right, Mo, since it's your LinkedIn post, you read it.
Sure. Here we go. AI isn't just a buzzword. It's your business lifeline in 2025. How to make AI your top priority and crush the competition. Look, integrating AI into your marketing isn't optional anymore. It's the difference between thriving and dying. Here's how smart businesses are leveraging AI in 2025. Email marketing on steroids. AI analyzes customer behavior, crafting personalized emails that convert like crazy. Social media domination. AI-powered content creation and scheduling tools pump out engaging posts 24/7. 3. Lead generation on autopilot. AI chatbots qualify leads while you sleep, filling your pipeline effortlessly. But here's the kicker. Most businesses are still dragging their feet. They're scared of change, clinging to outdated methods. Don't be like them. Embrace AI and watch your competitors scramble to catch up. Remember, in the world of tech, you're either leading or you're irrelevant. Which side of history will your business be on? P.S. I dive deep into AI strategies for tech leaders on my podcast. Check it out if you want to stay ahead of the curve.
Whoa.
I love it.
Right? And literally all you have to do is hit the copy button and I'll paste it to you later. That's how easy it is.
We actually, in my business, my partner and I, we played around with some custom GPTs and we created our own GPT called Post Buddy, where essentially it was kind of similar, where we basically said, okay, here's what our value proposition are, here's what we do. And the idea was we go in and say, I want to write a post about blah, blah, blah. And it would create a post and go from there.
I think that, this is a massive opportunity.
Yeah.
Is you can absolutely create amazing tools. And the crazy part is for little, I have about 100 users on this app that I've created, and it's costing me about at most $20 on an average day, more like $10 a day.
Yeah.
That's with 100 users using the heck out of it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I launched this tool, it's barely in its beginning form, it's 3 weeks ago for Black Friday. And it's just phenomenal just to see. It's so funny too, because I saw a lot of people in my own network who actually had bought it, and now their posts are showing up on my feed now because they're using my viral format, right?
Yeah.
So we've never been able to create so much value in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real opportunity right now for people is creating and training.
Creating and training.
Getting people to understand how to use AI into their workflows, and then creating really valuable AI tools that people can use.
Yeah. And this is a great way, to segue into the conclusion here, because we started the question with, is AI going to replace your job in 2025? And your answer was, it wasn't about yes or no, it was maybe. But here's the big takeaway. AI isn't about replacing humans. It's about augmenting our abilities and creating opportunities for growth. And you said it best, the ethical way and the great way for companies to incorporate AI is to train their people on how to use it, 10x their productivity, and get them to learn how to adopt these tools and be able to use them to, 10x their work. So in closing, Jeff, one final question for you. What's one piece of advice that you'd give to anyone who's worried about AI taking their job? Since we're wrapping it up, what would you say? I think you said it already, but say it again.
3 steps. Number 1, is my job actually going to be impacted immediately by AI?
Yeah.
You do that by doing that kind of checklist I gave earlier, which is it something that can be done remotely, something that can be done online, something remotely? Does it have anything to do with research and development, right? And thirdly, can AI write this content that you're doing? Like I think those are the 3 biggest issues right now. Like if it has anything to do with writing, reading, research.
Yeah.
Like these are the things that I think are going to be super important. Number 2, prepare yourself, whether it's looking at developing new skills, right?
Yeah.
And repositioning yourself into something more safe, or learning how to leverage AI to make what you do better so that you contain that value proposition so that you actually save and protect that job, or potentially even be able to produce more. Okay.
Exactly.
Thirdly, you can actually just say, you know what, maybe this is an opportunity for me you see that AI disparity gap and say, maybe I should actually monetize on some of this. And I know people that have owned companies and digital marketing agencies, whatever, and they've literally just left that because it's so much more fun to just teach companies how to use AI. And that's not going to be going away anytime soon.
It's not.
So those are the 3 ways I would say to use AI to your advantage and to avoid the AI jobs apocalypse coming with an AI-proof job.
Amazing. Thank you, Jeff, for your amazing insights. I mean, you've been doing this for a while. You're on the forefront, and your insights have really, really been invaluable. Thank you for being a guest on the show.
My pleasure, Mo.
And stay tuned for more great guest interviews like Jeff on Beyond the Byte. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps our show. And as always, stay curious, think ethically, and keep learning.